Okay, so we are constantly hearing about AI's potential to change the world, right? But let's get real for a second. How do you actually put a price on it? Today, we're going to cut through all that hype and dig into how AI companies can actually align their pricing with the one thing customers truly care about: real, tangible value. So let's just kick things off with a huge question. You can go out and build the most brilliant, sophisticated AI agent imaginable. But it's totally useless if nobody actually uses it. So why does this happen so often? Well, it turns out the answer for any potential customer comes down to a really simple calculation. The value they get has to clearly outweigh not just the sticker price, but also all the risks. Like what if it's unpredictable? Or what if it damages our reputation? Getting this balance right is the absolute foundation for everything we're about to talk about. Okay, so if value is the magic word in that equation, we've got to figure out what it actually is. Value can feel like this vague, fuzzy buzzword, but it's not. Let's break it down from a lofty idea into something you can actually measure. Let's put a real number on it. Imagine an AI agent that reviews company proposals, RFPs. A person might take, say, 30 minutes for each one. The agent, it does it in 2. Now, for a company getting 500 of these a month, that is over 200 hours of skilled work saved. That is real, measurable value. But here's the thing, and this is really important. Just saving time is only one piece of the puzzle. Customers don't just see the efficiency gains. They're looking at the whole picture. And to really understand their perspective, we need a better framework. And that brings us to this framework called the ROCSE model. Think of this as our key to decoding all those different dimensions of value and really getting inside the customer's head to see what they're thinking. So what is this ROICE model? It's a super simple way to think from the customer's point of view. Each letter stands for a critical dimension that they are sizing up: result, operational fit, impact, cost, and experience. All right, let's walk through it. First up is R for result. Does it actually solve my problem, and is it better, faster, or cheaper? Next is O for operational fit, and this one gets overlooked all the time. Does it just plug into my existing systems, or is it going to cause total chaos? Then we have I for impact. Does it move a metric that the leadership actually cares about, like revenue? C is for cost, and that's not just the price tag, but also the reputational risk if this thing messes up. And finally, E for experience. This is the human element. Does it feel trustworthy? Because if it doesn't, none of the rest of it matters. Okay, so now that we have a solid way to think about value, the next logical question is, how do you actually put a price on it? How do you translate these 5 dimensions into a monetization strategy that actually works? You've basically got 2 common models here. First, there's the digital FTE model. The analogy is perfect. You're pricing the AI agent like you're hiring a new employee. It's a predictable cost, and CFOs love it because they get headcount. On the other side, you've got the usage-based model. This is more like your utility bill. You only pay for what you use, per query, per minute, whatever. And that's awesome for users who want that flexibility. But that flexibility, it comes with one major nagging fear for the customer. And this quote just sums it up perfectly. The usage-based model creates a lot of anxiety. What happens if our activity suddenly spikes? The fear of getting a massive, totally unpredictable bill can be a huge roadblock. So how do you solve that? Well, you build trust by giving the customer back control. You give them real-time dashboards so they can see what's happening. You offer spend ramps so they can start small. You build in overage protection like alerts or soft caps. You could even do a hybrid model. It's all about eliminating those scary surprises. But this whole conversation actually points to a much deeper question. When a customer pays you, what are they really paying for? An action or a result? And that is the critical difference between task and outcome pricing. Let's put them side by side. With task-based pricing, the customer pays for the activity. The AI drafts an email, you get charged. It's simple, it's easy to measure. With outcome-based pricing, they pay for the result. A meeting is actually booked from that email, and then you get charged. The benefit here is huge because it perfectly aligns your success with your customer's success. But outcome-based pricing, as great as it sounds, immediately slams you into a huge challenge. And this question gets right to it. When a deal finally closes after a bunch of different steps involving different people, who gets the credit? This is the attribution problem. Okay, picture this classic sales scenario. The AI sends out a brilliant cold email that gets a human sales rep to make a follow-up call, then a demo gets scheduled, weeks go by, and finally the deal closes. So who gets the credit? The AI? The human rep? The product itself? It gets incredibly complicated fast. Now, to make outcome-based pricing actually work, you have to do the hard stuff up front. First, you need a crystal clear definition of what the outcome is. Second, you need an agreed-upon system for attribution, like a 7-day window or something. And third, you need transparent reporting with a clear evidence trail so you can actually prove the AI's contribution. And this brings us to the finish line, to the final core challenge of this entire topic. It's this fundamental tension between what's easy for the company selling the AI and what's actually valuable for the customer buying it. And here it is. This is the central trade-off. The easier a model is to price, like just charging for simple tasks, the less aligned it is with what customers actually value, which are outcomes. The closer you get to pricing true value, the harder it gets to measure. So we're going to leave you with the one question that gets to the heart of all of this. As you build and sell AI, you have to decide, are you selling the activity your tool performs, or are you selling the ultimate impact it has on your customer's business? And your answer to that? Well, that's going to define your entire strategy.